Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is calling for more Patriot missiles, just asking for them. The U.S. has them, and he warns that Russia is ramping up its attacks ahead of winter, saying in part, quote, Vladimir Putin does not want to end the war and is expanding the scale of strikes. He is waiting for winter. They are striking our civilian businesses, our logistics. Former Vice President Mike Pence just returned hours ago from Ukraine, where he met with President Zelensky and joins us now. What's the state of that war, Mr. Vice President? Thanks so much for joining us. What did you find when you got there?
You bet. Well, what I was inspired by at a national prayer breakfast where I spoke, where more than 2,000 people gathered after a brutal week of attacks by Russia on the capital of Kiev, is the profound and resolute determination of the people of Ukraine. Look, in my meeting with President Zelensky, we can talk about the needs in this moment and what America and Americans are doing there. But I got to tell you, the people of Ukraine are deeply inspiring. They just marked 35 years since the fall of the Soviet Union. They have supported and defended their freedom every day since. And I have no doubt in my mind that they will never surrender their freedom to the brutality of the Russian war machine. But they have some critical needs right now. I'm proud to say that the Trump administration has not stood in the way of making weapon systems available. Our European allies are purchasing and sending them to them. But the real challenge now, as you mentioned, is those ballistic missiles that Russia is beginning to fire. I think it's evidence of their desperation in this moment. President Zelensky and the Ukrainian military have literally changed the nature of warfare with their drone technology, taking attacks straight into Moscow, sinking ships in the Black Sea. But Russia firing those high-arc ballistic missiles, they're going to need some interceptors, whether they're Patriots, THAAD, or from other sources to make it through the winter. And I think the time has come for America and our allies across the free world to make sure they have them.
We had over 500 we got to Ukraine last year, only 270 this year. But as we know, there's a shortage of THAAD and Patriots. You have an idea,
sure,
and I think it's a great one. Can you share it?
Well, I do. And look, President Zelensky was profoundly grateful in our one-on-one conversation and also in the public statements that he made at the National Prayer Breakfast about the support of the American people, the collaboration of all of our allies, many of which met on Monday to mark that 35th anniversary. But what he said to me was, he said they can make do with only 5% of what we have today in Patriot missile technology. But there's an opportunity here. You saw the back and forth the president had with South Korea last week. I remember during our years in the White House, the president made demands. South Korea responded by investing more in their national defense. Right now, President Lee in South Korea could transfer the interceptors that they manufacture directly into the region, whether it's the Middle East, send them to Europe, or send them direct to the Ukraine. And I'm really calling on President Lee in the Republic of Korea to do just that. Remember, North Korean soldiers and North Korean arms are shipping westward into this fight. They are going in to fight on European soil to try and redraw international lines by force in conjunction with the Russian war machine. I think this is a real moment where South Korea can step up, send those interceptors that they manufacture. They may not be as good as Patriot missiles, but I'm told on good authority they're close. But I got to tell you, if Ukraine has the ability to knock those ballistic missiles down, I think they are one massive step closer to victory, because right now Ukraine is winning this war against Putin's brutality and the Russian military. They've stalemated them on the front lines, Brian, as you've observed, but they've taken the fight to them with their drone technology. We don't need a massive infusion of American resources, but we need to make sure they have the technology to confront the brutal efforts using those ballistic missiles that were fired leading into this weekend. Actually, some were fired when we were still there. And You give them the means to do that, and I think Ukraine's going to win this thing and win a great victory, not only for their freedom, but for the free world for generations to come.
It is. And Mr. Vice President, it's in our national interest for Ukraine to be successful. And I think for you to take that long trip and put yourself at risk to do it, it shows how much it means to our national security. Mr. Vice President, thanks so much. Appreciate it. That was a great idea.
Thank you, Brian.
Hopefully South Korea is carrying this show, and then they'll say yes. Meanwhile, still ahead, the Clancy trial nears an end after a dispute over religious testimony. We're live outside the courtroom next.
Blue Compass RV is celebrating America's 250th. During our red, white, and blue Compass event, shop thousands of used RVs